2025 Subaru Forester Hybrid is a welcome upgrade. We've bemoaned the refreshed 2025 Subaru Forester for its lack of vitality. But that was before we had a chance to drive something that's never before existed, the Subaru Forester Hybrid. This changes more than you'd think. Yes, there's a bump in fuel economy, from 28 mpg combined, with 19-inch wheels, or 29 mpg, with 17 or 18 inches, for the regular Forester to 35 mpg combined for the hybrid. And for some people that'd be enough. Subaru's new hybrid system. Power still doesn't crack the 200 horsepower threshold, but it's now closer at 194 horsepower. Compare that to the 180 horsepower effort of the regular Forester, and you've got yourself a 14 HP advantage. Okay, golf clap. Still, the way this hybrid compact crossover goes about its business is what makes the difference. It starts with a 2.5-liter boxer engine as in the standard car. But this one is tuned to run the Atkinson cycle. It makes 162 horsepower and 154 pound-feet of torque. Which doesn't sound that great until you realize that the hybrid system blends in another 118 horsepower and 199 pound-feet from the primary traction motor concealed within the transmission case. Another motor generator within the transmission case does the hero's work of starting the engine, siphoning off excess power to generate electricity for the battery, and regulating the output of the engine and traction motor as the arbiter of the CVT action of the transmission. It doesn't contribute to propulsion, so its output isn't listed, but it is the main player behind the scenes of the whole contraption. What's more, the CVT action here is less prone to vibration than Subaru's Lineartronics of old, because there's no friction in how this one operates, consisting of a planetary gear set instead of a pair of adjustable pulleys and a chain belt. It's far smoother. The hybrid in action. On the drag strip, though, the hybrid isn't liable to be much quicker than the non-hybrid. That's because most of its horsepower advantage is negated by the powertrain's extra weight. It's almost a draw when you do the power-to-weight calculation. But the electric motor gives the Forester Hybrid far more motivation moving off from a stop. So there's a chance it might outdo the regular Forester's 8.3-second dash to 60 miles per hour. Passing acceleration from 30 to 50 miles per hour and from 50 to 70 miles per hour seem ripe for a mild improvement too. But even if that doesn't happen, the overriding theme will be quiet. That's because the Forester Hybrid has been given even more sound deadening than the non-hybrid. Of course, it also operates sometimes as an EV. And we saw the EV mode light up on downhills at 60 miles per hour and even for brief stretches while cruising too. The background noise doesn't really change much when you're driving, and the engine on phases aren't much different from the engine off ones. The exception, of course, is acceleration, but even this is muted unless you've got your foot in it. One thing that many overlook with an all-wheel drive hybrid is the way power is routed to all four wheels. With the Forester Hybrid, the engine and hybrid system all sit upstream of the all-wheel drive transfer case, meaning all four wheels are driven by the hybrid powertrain. In other all-wheel drive hybrids, particularly the Toyota RAV4 Hybrid, the hybrid powertrain only drives the front wheels. The rear axle is powered by a third electric motor when necessary. It's not a great way to run a railroad. Some might say, electric motors deploy their power differently, so the front and rear ends might not speak the same language. Also, they may not be up for continuous all-wheel action. Subaru does pay a fuel economy penalty for doing it this way. However, the Forester Hybrid's 35 mpg combined is 4 mpg lower than the RAV4 Hybrid's 39 mpg. The switch to hybrid propulsion necessitated certain other changes as well. The AC compressor is electrically powered and is canted off-axis from the accessory drive belt. Other changes were made to the brakes, because they need to maintain a steady pedal feel whether you are regenerating electricity to do the slowing or using the pads and rotors. Subaru nailed this, because the brake pedal feel is smooth and sure throughout. There's no hiccup when the brakes transition from one to the other. The only small gripe is that they're a wee bit oversensitive initially. The suspension has been reworked owing to the extra weight, some 300 pounds. We spent the bulk of our time driving a Forester Hybrid with the base 225 55ths R18 all-season tires, and on the narrow twisty lanes above Woodside. California. It felt absolutely planted, but with a comportment that still breathed. The body didn't roll excessively. And you never had any sense that there's 8.7 inches of ground clearance underneath you. The steering is lighter than is our taste, but at the same time it never once gave us a bum steer. The road turned back on itself more times than we can recall. And yet we always hit our marks with ease. As has been said before, the visibility out of the Forester is pretty damn impressive. Ditto the accommodations, which are ample whether you're in the front seats or the back. The front chairs are nicely bolstered, and we appreciated them when sailing along twisty Skyline Drive. We'll even give a shout out to the driver assist nannies. We'll often turn off lane departure warning, but Subaru's eyesight seems to be sophisticated enough to distinguish between intentional line tickling and outright inattention. Whatever the case, a system that doesn't react needlessly is the one that won't get switched off. Meaning it will be on duty when you do need it. The hybrid upcharge. We previously posited that the hybrid would be about $5,000 more than the regular version. But that's not quite true. Yes, the non-hybrid base model is actually exactly $5,000 less than the hybrid starting price. But that's because the least expensive hybrid is the one level up premium trim level. Starting at $36,415 and climbing to $43,115 for the Touring. The hybrid's upcharge ranges from $1,400 to $3,185 bucks. For that, you also get more standard equipment and a hybrid exclusive digital cockpit display. So the real price delta for the hybrid is more like $1,400 to $1,485. That's the dollar amount you really need to look at if you want to consider the payback for the 35 mpg combined rating that you get with the hybrid. We did, and it's fewer than 5 years at national average pump prices. Of course, there's a bit more to the hybrid Forester than that. You also get a quieter car, more oomph at takeoff, and the digital gauge cluster that can put maps right in front of your face. Moreover, you get a well-tuned Forester that's nicer to drive than you'd guess.